Welcome to Let's Talk Relationships Coast to Coast. Hi, Chuck. How's it out there today, California?
It's a little chilly today, and we've had a warm spring, but it's getting chilly now, and we might even get some rain, which we need here in Northern California.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. So, today we're going to talk about using these safe conversation tools in the workplace. And, we had our first workshop for the workplace. And, some of the questions we got, which I thought we could talk about today, are how do we use these tools when others that I work with aren't trained in them? Is it going to seem really obvious or weird? How can I make use, like this seems great, but how do I use it if the rest of my team is not trained?
Now, that's a great question because that's often the way we feel. Sometimes we feel like we're victims in our job because we can't change anything, and that change depends in part on other people. But what we're learning with Safe Conversations is that you can begin to change the game
Mhm.
just by changing the way you respond, the way you communicate.
Yeah, yes. I really like how you said that sometimes we feel like we're victims, but really we do have some control. We do have some power over our experiences. And to kind of change our mindset and really be open to that. So some of the tools that we use, we can use them generically, like even in the world, even in the stores. So we can definitely use them in our, like it's just getting used to it. So we can definitely use them in our work environments as well. I know you're really good at using them, just in natural. Even when we talk, I think that you sometimes use them, and it's a really pleasant way to interact, actually.
It is, and we've learned about each other that we're both very strong in our opinions, and we probably wouldn't be where we are today if in doing what we're doing if we weren't didn't have some strong opinions and values that we
Mhm.
bring to the table. And that's true with everyone. Everyone has values. Everyone has certain strengths that they bring. And one of the things that you talked about in the workshop, which I think would be really good to talk about today, just briefly, is safety in the space between you and zero negativity. Why is it, Elissa, that whenever there's a drop of negativity in a conversation, it goes bad?
Right, right. So, people are sensitive to that. So the space between, what that means is it's something we all have a sense of. It's hard to articulate because it's kind of a abstract thing, but so we define the relationship as two people plus that space between them, which is really that energy force that's between you and another. And I think we all have a sense of what that means. Does it feel open and light and safe and we can be ourselves? Or is there some kind of tension in there where we're kind of feeling defensive and cautious? So when negativity enters that space, and that could come from, say, past work experiences, like I met someone like you in my last job and something bad happened. So
Go.
I immediately am guarded and watching you. That would be an example of that, right? Another example, could just be, this style of communication that people have. Some people may interrupt a lot or really not give us a chance to talk. So all of these things can bring a sense of negativity. And once that's in there, then something changes in the energy there that we can learn to address. So when we look at it like a concrete thing, it makes it easier to think about, describe, and then try to fix it.
That's good. And so it's the idea of just like you and I, we work a lot with couples, and between the couple, the intimate couple, is the space between. And what we're doing with the couple is to help them steward well that space between. So they keep the negativity out of it so there can be connection. And when they feel connected, everything else tends to work. Well,
Mhm.
you just pointed out in the workplace, there's the space between you and other people. And whenever something goes wrong, we tend to either overreact and go, a little bit overly assertive of our intentions and our what we want, or we tend to back off and withdraw.
Mhm.
And so what we wanted to convey is that either of those responses brings negativity, into the space between, because it could be like you said, somebody that's always pushing their opinion and they're bossy, and they were like someone was in my past. So I'm kind of triggered in that past reaction, or maybe I grew up with a mother or father that was that way, and I'm reacting to in that. And
Right.
we know we talk about how we bring our childhood right into our relationships today. When that happens, I may be withdrawing and not even knowing it, and thus making it unsafe for the others.
Right, right, right. So the idea is to look at this consciously and, like you said, and really try to work on that. So when you notice something is in the space, we learn how to handle that and how to repair that so that you can have more, like it could be cleaner and safer. And
Mhm.
so then when that happens and you're in the work environment, then that's when your true creativity can be expressed. You can have more joy in your job, connect with people, which is really what we want. We don't want to be so guarded with people and not trust people. We want to really share. I mean, most people do. Some people like to work on their own, but they still want to feel safe in that space with other people. That's always there.
So important. And you mentioned what happens when you've been trained and you understand how a safe conversation works, but nobody else in your work environment knows.
Right.
We talked about two examples in our workshop. One where someone is overly aggressive, like I said, overly assertive and outwardly explosive, and how do you handle that when that happens? And another was when you notice a team member that's gone silent, they're not talking, they're no longer contributing.
Right.
And listen, I've heard horror stories of people in high level positions who are not contributing, who have withdrawn, and they're in a high position, and then you find out that it's gone on for years because in one meeting they were offended and they pulled back and they stopped.
Right.
That really affects the bottom line of the company in a dramatic way, in a way that we don't really take into account. So these kind of skills have real impact, both not only on the bottom line of the organization, which that's why most leaders in companies want these skills, because it does affect the bottom line, but
Right.
it also affects job satisfaction. In your own story, you shared how when you worked with a company and it was started out like family, and you felt so safe and so good in that. And then when leadership changed and it came in and became more about the bottom line, and by the way, I'm not saying the bottom line is not important. Listen, if there's not a bottom line that's in the black, none of us are in business. None of us, we're wasting our breath, right? We got to
Right.
have profit. But when it became overly emphasized on profit, what happened when that happened?
Well, people really, then the trust got much less. And people, they really did not enjoy their job as much. They stopped caring. So then it just really it affects your customer relationships. When you really feel valued and appreciated by your company, you you enjoy work more and you don't mind giving back more, putting more hours in. You care about your job, which is really what people want. They want to get joy out of there's something they're doing 40 or 50 hours a week. So what happened was when things changed, some people left, but trust really dropped and the joy came out from really wanting to work there for a long time to, then you want to look for other jobs. You're much more open rather than really feeling committed. So the commitment drops a lot.
Wow. Now, so one of the skills that we use when and you were talking about how when people are willing to go the extra mile, people are willing to, and the way I look at it, yeah, go the extra mile, stay late. They're enthusiastic about their job. Customers are more satisfied. Employees are getting the work done. But it's when they feel accepted, when they feel safe. And it goes back to the one skill that we start with, and it's the skill called mirroring.
Mhm.
And we just want to say that is so powerful. And if you had psychology 101, you learned about Carl Rogers and reflective listening, and that's where it started. But Harville Hendricks and Helen LaKelly Hunt have taken it so much further, using that tool with some questions that we use that really help you hear 100%, and then even get to the point where you can actually validate a person and differentiate from them. You can actually be different, have different opinions, and you can imagine people with vastly different opinions being able to work together and connect beyond their differences. That's what Safe Conversations is all about. And
Right.
that's what
Right.
companies value about what we're doing.
Right. That's exactly what I think we want people to know, that even if other people aren't trained, you can still mirror, you can still validate, you can still pay attention to that space between and try to work with that in a more conscious way rather than feeling so hopeless. We do have the power. We do have some control over our work lives. You know, as you said, like we're not just victims. We can have some control and make it better.
Well, I was on the call with a client the other day, and I was trying to help him understand in his company how he could use these skills. And it was like for 2 weeks, 2 sessions, things just went over his head. And then one day, because what am I doing when I'm listening to him? I'm mirroring him.
Right.
He said, "What you just did right there, is that what you're talking about? That felt so good for you to, because you're really listening to me." And I said, "Well, there it is, seeking to model it." And then he said, "I get it. Now I want to do that for my coworkers and employees." So I thought that was a pretty good example of how it really works. And by the way, I know we're running out of time here on our little brief Facebook Live session, but you have modeled that for me in an amazing way, and I've sought to model that for you. And as I said in the beginning, we're both very strong in our opinions, but we've managed to keep it safe
Mhm.
between us, even though sometimes it starts off where it's not so safe.
And we're very different, right? So, but using these tools has really worked and shown us how powerful it could be in the workplace, which is what's really been so inspirational and made us want to do this.
It has. It has. It's like I love doing the workshops, but I especially love doing them with you, Elissa, because there's that connection that we have that really has transcended our differences. And then in the times when we've had conflict, we have been able to demonstrate for ourselves how we work through that. And by using appreciations, by using mirroring and validation and empathy,
Mhm.
it really is fun, I have to say.
Definitely, definitely. And we feel the most creative. So yeah, so please, yeah, so we're doing two workshops. We have two coming up, which is really exciting. One for a general one for couples, individuals to learn about relationships. That's on Saturday, May 1st, and then one for the workplace on Friday, May 7th. So we're going to post the times and information here. And we hope that you will come join us and let us know what you think.
Let us know what you think. And we love it because it's overflowing from what's happening in our marriages, with Elissa's marriage, my marriage, and our work relationship. And it's overflowing. We can't wait to share it with you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Hope to
you.
see you soon. Bye-bye.
Till next week.
Bye.